Oh, okay. So welcome everyone to another episode of Real Talk on 92.5 WLSD The Vault. And tonight we're going to be diving into the movie Monkeybone. But before we do that, please go to the social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. And I'm excited to hear your all's reaction to this movie.
Oh, definitely a good one.
Now, before we get into this, did you all end up watching Maniac Cop?
I didn't get to.
You didn't get to?
Watched, yeah, I finished it. I watched
Okay, what did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely very reminiscent of like it's like they're like, well, you know, we've gone really far with Friday the 13th. Maybe we should change it up a little bit.
Right.
The cop, the cop villain guy, whatever. I forgot his name.
Now, had you heard of that one before?
No.
No.
I hadn't. And then like it is. It's like.
Have you?
No.
You
I've
haven't
never heard of
Well,
it.
it's a franchise. There's 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that
didn't
is
know
right.
that either.
Because I remember whenever I looked it up, I seen 1, 2, and 3 popped up.
And whenever I was younger, they would have those in the VHS box in the video stores, and I would always be scared of it. So I never watched it until the other night. So, and it actually is a St. Patrick's Day movie.
What?
Because there's a St. Patrick's Day parade in the movie later on in the movie. And a little information before we get into this one. They filmed all that St. Patrick's Day to show the investors, here's what the movie will look like. And they didn't hardly ever shoot in New York City. But the movie takes place in New York City.
Smart.
So yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to, there was a couple good reviews last week about it. A couple of people I hadn't watched in a long time. And I think it's on Tubi and Pluto maybe. It was free a couple different places.
Yeah, there was a few places. Dude, even on just regular YouTube, you could watch it with, it was in split videos.
Right.
You might not get the whole movie, but...
Now, I tried to find Monkeybone just to see if it was on YouTube, and some clips were, but I couldn't find the whole movie.
I did the same thing.
I think it's like on, I don't know, whenever you look it up on Google, it says it's on YouTube.
Yeah?
YouTube TV.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch it on the Fandango?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you watched it?
Well, I went to at first.
Did you watch it on the one you told me?
Cinesphere.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to watch about 30 minutes of ads in each movie, but
Right.
you can find anything. That's how I got to watch Terrifier 3 finally. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Now, this movie, Monkeybone, came out in the year 2000, and this is about a cartoonist who gets into a coma, and he finds himself trapped within his own underground creation and must find a way to get back while racing against his popular but trepidatious character. And Monkeybone, the character, is actually
very vulgar.
Yes, yeah, and he's kind of mean. He's a very mischievous monkey. This was directed by Henry Selick, and for those that don't know the name, he directed Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and Coraline and Looney Tunes Back into Action. So this, if you kind of watch this film and you've seen some of those others, you can kind of see,
absolutely,
the
animation.
Yeah. And this has a cast of a lot of people that were big in the 2000s. Brendan Fraser, we have him as Stuart Miley, Bridget Fonda. She retired not long after this movie.
Really?
Yeah, she's been retired for about 20 years.
Is that the girl that was his girlfriend?
Yep.
Or fiance, I guess she would be in the movie.
It was.
She was in, David, what was that movie? I asked you about it not long ago. Kiss of the Dragon. She was the girl in it, right?
Yeah, she was. Yeah. She was. That was actually one of her last roles.
Movie, dude.
Was that Jet Li?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yep.
That was one of her last roles. She was also in a movie called Single White Female from the 90s.
I remember. I ain't seen it. I've seen it like bits and pieces.
She's in a Quentin Tarantino movie called Jackie Brown, and she is in this. She's not done a whole lot of work, but she retired. She's actually married to the musician Danny Elfman, who makes a lot of music for Tim Burton. So he does a lot of those kind of movies. You've got Chris Kattan as the organ donor.
Gymnast, if you will.
Giancarlo Esposito as How did you pronounce his name?
It's
Juan Carlo or
Hypnos?
It's either Juan Carlo or Giancarlo.
I've heard people say both. Yeah. So he plays Hypnos, and you've got Rose McGowan as Miss Kitty, Whoopi Goldberg as Death, and Dave Foley as Herb.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious them using Whoopi as
Death.
Yeah.
Dude, that cracked me up.
Yeah.
She did good though.
Well, it kind of surprised me to see Rose McGowan in it.
So going
true.
into this movie, you all knew very little, correct?
Very little.
So you said, David, you've never heard of it before?
Nope. And I just said to myself that I feel like, I didn't expect to see Rose in it. I just now remembered she's in Biodome.
Yeah.
Which is a Pauly Shore movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Who did she play?
One of the girl. Oh no, she played one of the friends of the girlfriends.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
When they go to that Save the Planet.
Yeah.
The
dome,
yeah.
They get trapped inside.
Yeah, boys get stuck in the biodome, and the girls are like, "Yeah, our boys are doing something good for once." But no, the tie-in though would be that Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser did Encino Man together, and here we got Rose McGowan with Pauly Shore and Biodome.
Well, this movie. Here's a couple of facts before we get into it. When the movie was being pitched to begin with, it was something going to be a lot darker than the movie that turned out, although it is a dark movie as we've seen. But Nicolas Cage and Christopher Walken were going to be playing the original roles of Brendan Fraser and Whoopi Goldberg's character. Okay. So if you put those two in it, it would be a completely different movie.
It'd have to be.
It would be nothing like this at all. And if it were like this with those two, that would just be crazy. That'd be madness. Even more so than this movie is. Ben Stiller was originally going to be the voice of Monkeybone, but had to step down due to complications.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't see Ben Stiller doing Monkeybone.
Yeah, I couldn't. He's crazy. He ain't crazy enough. Though.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have the
No.
I mean, Monkeybone.
The opperness.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's more like that short fuse character.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, Chris Kattan plays a gymnast who died from a broken neck. In real life, Chris Kattan actually broke his neck during a sketch on Saturday Night Live.
What?
He did. One of the sketches.
No wonder he's so good at acting like his neck's broke. He did way too good at that. Dude.
Yeah. And in a 2022 interview, Henry Selick admitted his unhappiness with the final film and he has since vowed to never make another live-action film again.
Okay. So then, why? Why make a movie that you're just gonna crap
Genuinely
on?
unhappy about?
Yeah.
Well, he said I read some other things, and he said they completely. He turned in a version of the movie. They didn't like the version that he turned in, and then they edited his movie down and then released it, and that wasn't the movie he made.
Yeah.
And the famous words of Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. So speaking of money, this movie cost $75 million.
Bro, this is just horrible. This is just horrible.
And
I literally turned over to look at that. It was horrible.
So
and you know what? Maybe they should have went with Brendan Fraser's
His way of
vision.
doing
yeah. So it cost $75 million, and I was wrong on the gross. The gross in America was only 5.9. Worldwide was 7.6. So this movie was one of the biggest box office flops of the last 15 years, especially in the 2000s.
That hurts.
It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 20%, audience score of 27%, and IMDb is 4.8. Wow. So most people don't like this movie.
They should have used more green screens to save some money.
So yeah, and I remember I worked at the movie theater when this came out, and we had the poster of Monkeybone, the poster that you all saw today. And there was a couple of different ones, but it never came around. I never saw one TV commercial for it at the time. I only heard about it because of this magazine that I would used to read, and because of the poster. Mm-hmm. And now looking at the poster, I wish I'd have taken that poster. That'd be a cool poster to have.
Yeah,
because especially nobody's.
It's not a very well-known movie, it seems like. Dude, my stepdad, man, he knows every...
Yeah, German.
I'm not going to say crappy movie, but weird movie that nobody else likes. He likes them.
Right.
He was like, dude, I've watched every movie
This man
known to
just
man,
likes
and he was
TV.
like, dude, there's not a
and TV.
movie like this one.
Had he heard of this one before too?
Yeah, he's watched it.
Oh, he
was
has?
like, dude, there's not a movie like this. He was like, I'm trying to find a movie that's I can compare it to, but I can't.
Now you all said that. So you all went into this movie knowing. Did you look up anything about it before
I
you
didn't.
watched it?
No.
David, no.
No.
So you all go into this movie, and what do you think? Like, what do you think when you see the cast that pops up on screen?
So at the beginning, I don't know. I just know at the beginning of the movie, whenever it's like he's like doing that painting,
Yeah.
you know, for the proposal that he's
You
going to
think
do
it's
with
gonna
this
be
character.
like a great painting?
Well, it's not. No, it's not even just. I mean, it's cute painting, but it's just it's a fact that like I expected it to be like, oh, I found this antique shop
Yeah.
of like cool little knickknacks, and somebody's trying to sell me a cursed monkey bone.
Right. So you all didn't know. So
Because that's what the poster gives off. I'm sorry. It's like
It's very deceiving.
Yeah.
oh, so that's what you got from just the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And neither one of you all looked up anything about it
Nope.
before you went in.
No.
So you all, it starts off. I think one of the first scenes is the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you all think about that cartoon?
It was very,
Vulgar.
very weird.
Okay, so obviously the teacher wasn't nice.
No.
What aroused him about her arm flaps, I don't know.
Yeah, I found that very disturbing. I'd seen that particular cartoon once before, many years ago, but I remember it thinking, "Ooh, that's gross."
Well, maybe she
His
called him
nose
nice
kills
because,
me.
like, she was protecting him from the kids whenever nails in his head.
So he's kind of, what would you say his character is? He's a little bit on the, I don't know if he's depressed, but he's not. He doesn't seem to be too happy
No.
that his creation just got 6-episode series
Six
and all these
episodes,
toys.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem too happy about it. Not really.
No, not at all.
No,
And-
because funnily enough, I think he actually mentions in this movie that that's not his complete vision.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, he
Funnily enough, because now you've mentioned earlier that this movie wasn't even his vision.
I
Right.
mean, Monkeybone was the one that got him into this whole situation to begin with because they were trying to sell him a bunch of toys pitch their idea for toys, and he hits that little string on the inflatable in the car.
And that's what causes the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what causes the entire thing. Now, there's a scene, I don't know if you all went back and watched the movie trailer for it, but there's a scene in the movie trailer that gives away that there's an accident and he ends up in a coma. But they show a scene in the movie trailer of a pole coming down toward the car. But in the movie, it doesn't show
do
it.
that in the movie.
I
Yeah.
I noticed that because
So it was the pole that put him in
yeah,
the coma.
it was the pole.
Okay, I was wondering how he got put in a coma and she didn't.
And all it does is cut to her standing over
Yep.
top of him, and then he kind of slinks down where he's going into the
Yep.
coma. But it never shows the pole coming down like it does in the movie trailer.
Okay.
So, like, do you think maybe that'll be in the director's cut? the
It
whole
should be.
falling?
That's got to be.
I do
part
think
of
it will if it ever comes out. And
Probably
I
not.
think that's very
a
unlikely.
long time ago.
'Cause, I mean, it's,
man.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
And this was back when Brendan Fraser was. He also had the movie we did a few weeks ago, Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That came out. I think it came out a year or so after this, and then he was still doing the Mummy movies. So I can see why they would think this would be more successful than it was.
Compared, yeah, but
But if you go into a movie like
it
there's
depends on your taste, really.
yeah, and just like you said, there was not another movie like this
Mm-mm.
at the time. Even now.
No, I couldn't think of one. I mean, there's ones that you can like. I mean, just the whole, real life and animated aspect. There's a few you could compare them to, but a movie that was actually like this, no.
So this movie came out actually I was wrong. It came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what other movies. It came out February 23rd, 2001. It opened up in 11th place, so it's pretty bad.
I feel like there was a Star Wars movie that came out that year.
Let's see. We've
one
got
of the new ones, yeah, probably.
February. We have Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
Oh man,
yeah.
We've
that
got,
was a good one.
A Chris Rock movie called Down to Earth.
Well, how are you supposed to have a successful movie?
A Kevin Costner movie called 3,000 Miles to Graceland. A cartoon called Recess, School's Out.
Okay. Yeah,
The Wedding Planner. Movie. Castaway.
Gosh.
Castaway had been out 10 weeks, though.
Oh, I love Castaway,
Wait, The Wedding Planner. That's...
J-Lo and Matthew McConaughey. And then Monkeybone finishes at number 11.
Dang, dude.
So it didn't do very well.
How are you supposed to compete with them movies, though? Especially making a movie that like nobody's really ever seen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And there's no promotion. You got imagine the only time you see it, you might see the movie trailer if you watch a movie and they show it before the movie.
Yeah.
But I specifically remember I never saw one TV ad for it ever, and back then that's where most people would see the ads. There was no YouTube or anything like that. So you'd see it in magazines, which I read about, and in that poster. But like you said, the poster doesn't give away what it's really about at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
It's very deceiving.
I agree. So what would you all say about the plot and the story of this Monkeybone?
I mean, talking about plot.
Plot had some holes in it.
Yeah,
it did have some holes in it.
It was really. I think. And I'll go back to the original point where this movie was changed a lot before it was put on the screen too.
Tremendously.
So, it just makes you think like, what are we missing out on because of all those changes that were made?
Because it was a pretty short movie. It's only like 93 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I watched it. I guess yesterday, and I watched part of it again today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, that might I saw it was like a certain part, and I was like, oh, that might be where Dave and Jeremiah are watching it. So I stopped it. I rewound it back to where I thought it was. And
I do that every time I watch something on Fandango, dude. I'm like, oh shoot, I think I'm interrupting Ryan and Dave.
If you ever go in there and something that I've watched, it doesn't matter, because I sometimes I'll watch 20 minutes of a movie and then I'll stop and go to another one. It just
don't catch your attention.
Yeah. But Monkeybone has something in every. I mean, it never slows down. It seems.
No, it don't. No. It's action packed the whole time.
Now, what did you all think when he first goes into downtown?
That was wild, dude. The way that it was like a coffin at first when he first started sinking down, and then it turned into like his body
roller
shape.
Coaster.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, then the roller coaster.
I like the roller coaster aspect of it.
I do too.
And all the characters that he meets,
mm-hmm.
and I guess all those, I'm guessing, are characters not only that he's created in his, but you have supposedly Stephen King, which wasn't the real Stephen King, but they did a pretty close job.
He looked a lot.
It was
like
pretty
him.
close.
It tricked me at first.
Yeah.
See, I had read
Stephen King, Attila the Hun.
Yeah.
The name just popped up.
Jack the Ripper was he?
Jack the Ripper was.
Yeah, and then that girl. What was her name? Oh man, they only just sat there and introduced themselves, and that was pretty much their whole part.
Yeah, they didn't have much of they didn't move the plot forward at all too much. Now, what did you all think about? We'll get into this in a moment, but they there was a lot of things like from the poster. I'm looking at it. Did you all think Chris Kattan's part would be bigger?
I feel like it should have. Yeah, he should have came in at the beginning of the movie. They should have showed how he,
broke his neck and stuff.
Like they should have did something more.
I remember when I was younger when the movie trailer came out, Chris Kattan's character was in the entire trailer.
Yeah.
So it made you think he was in the entire movie. Yeah. When in reality he's just in the third act of the movie for 15 minutes maybe.
That's it. It wasn't long.
The last part.
I mean, basically all he did was ran around like this until he got a stick. He took that stick and taped it around his head. Yeah. By the way, that was. We'll get into that later because that's the favorite scene thing. But,
okay.
Yeah.
So basically he goes inside. He's in a coma, and he's pretty much in this world called downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to get out is with this golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? Is that what it's called?
Pass. What was it? What did they call it? The pass or the?
I don't know.
The golden pass.
The golden pass, like I think. And when you get the golden pass, you're shot up kind of through Abraham Lincoln's mouth.
Yeah.
And you're back into the real world.
Well, except at that end one, he didn't get shot out.
He got kicked, and then the last time when he came back to life, he was standing in that palm of that statue, and she said, "Scoot back a little bit."
Yes. So basically, Monkeybone, which is Stu's creation, steals the golden pass or ticket, and ends up going to the real world, taking over Stu's body.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend thinks that his changes in mood is because of the nightmare
drugs
juice
she gave him.
Right?
That was another thing. Why? Okay, when she asked that lady, that nurse, what's the most you've ever given somebody? 0.5 milligrams. She's like, 6 milligrams. And then just stabs him with it. And I'm like, dude, that's too much.
Quite a bit.
Like, I would have went up to 1 instead of jumping all the way to 6.
And then I found it also funny that they never did, as far as I can remember, did they ever tell, I know that him and his sister made a pact because of their father, but they never really said why they made the pact, did they?
Well, because they didn't want him to
suffer?
They didn't want to, okay, so they said that I don't know how to say that without saying the D word, but basically he stayed alive too long.
Right.
And they didn't want either one of them, having to go through the same thing with each other, so they made this pact.
Now, did you all think that his sister seemed like a little too...
She was,
ready to do it?
Yeah, because there was obviously some kind of insurance or something there.
Because she seemed like she wanted to do it at every... She was like, well, I guess we can wait.
I guess we can give him 90 days.
Yeah. Yeah, like she wanted to do it immediately. I'm like, he's only been in there a half an hour.
She even said, where's the plug? And he was like, where's the what? And she was like, the plug.
Yeah. I thought that was a funny line, actually. That was a funny line. So, basically, Monkeybone gets into Stu's body, does a lot of pretty much vulgar things, and creates chaos.
Like, seriously, one of the very first scenes you see, like, he's, like, sitting on the bed, you think he's watching,
he's watching monkey stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's literally watching monkey stuff on the TV, and then whenever she catches him, he's like,
That's right, because it's showing her like getting out of the shower or something.
Yeah.
And she's saying kind of sexy, kind of being turned to sexy or something, isn't she?
She is.
And his response, you would think he's answering to her, but he's really talking to the TV, which has monkey-related things on it.
And he even, when she comes in there and asks him what he's watching, he's like, nothing.
No,
and
nothing.
He uses his foot like a monkey would to turn the TV off.
Yes, he does. And that brings us to some of the characters. I don't know. Should we give this movie away to people?
Dude, it's 2001.
Well, that's true.
If they ain't watched it by now, sorry.
I'd say they're not going to if they don't by now. And I would honestly think, just like you all, that most... Had you heard of the movie before? You had? That most people probably haven't heard of this movie.
No, probably not. I mean, I never...
That's why it's not on a lot of streaming places.
I've seen, like... The only thing I've ever seen from this movie, the scene where... the monkey, it was when he first got in the cart and dude's chasing after him when he stole the ticket.
Yeah.
There was a meme on Facebook I seen. It's probably been 3 or 4 years ago that had something to do with that. And that's how I first even heard of the movie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
And I haven't seen the meme since then, and the movie never crossed my mind until you brought it up that we were going to do it, yesterday or something you told me?
Yeah.
The day before.
So that's pretty cool, though. Like, would you think also from this, without knowing anything about it, did this seem like it was going to be a kid's movie?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
No.
Funny story there, too.
Okay.
I was about halfway through the movie, and my stepkid came in and was wanting to watch it with me, and I was like, I mean, nothing dirty's happened yet. It seems like a good kids movie. Soon as she walks in, it's the scene where he had just took over dude's body, and he's hopping around on the bed doing gymnastics and stuff, basically. I was like, nope, get out of here.
Yeah, no, whenever they're like getting seductive, he's like trying to do a little seductive dance.
That was right after the monkey.
Yeah.
He got caught watching monkeys on the TV.
Yeah, and he's there's a lot of kind of crazy camera angles during that scene too.
Yeah.
Like they're very
subjective.
Yeah, yeah, and but it's in a comedic style, but it's very 2000s as well. It just really, if I didn't know it was from the 2000s, I would know it is just
I thought that was going to go into a full blown R-rated scene, and then he just falls and hurts himself,
hits his head.
It's over after that. He's like, "What the heck, man?"
But no, instead he just want to be like dive on in. Freaking, he's like, dive, dive.
So after he pretty much gets into Stu's body, he pretty much wants to release this. What is it? The
nightmare thing.
Yeah,
nightmare juice. What they call it.
So he ends up putting a lot of it in the Monkeybone toys.
Yeah,
and that big
where they pull the thumb out of
their bum, and it farts.
Yep.
And it releases, the nightmare juice.
It farts you to sleep.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true, but I was listening to a review on the way down here, and they, whenever the team that puts the toys together, they're like presenting him, showing him, then they pull the tail, and they all start laughing and everything. Now I don't know if it was true, but it said that scene lasted 90 seconds. Does that seem like a long time?
Seconds. That does seem a little long.
That's a minute and a half that they were sitting there laughing about that farting. I was like, I don't remember that lasting that long.
No, there's no way. Maybe like 20 or 30
That's what
seconds.
I thought. So I don't know. It was recorded.
Man,
part of the director's cut.
Whoever's writing a review on these definitely went to some viewing party for the director's
They've had
cut.
to have, because I was like, that didn't last 90 seconds.
Yeah, they didn't even watch it probably.
I mean, would that be funny for 90 seconds?
No, it's only funny for so long.
Like, you're seriously like pulling up details about this movie that we didn't see in
Yeah.
So I'm thinking there must have been some sort of like special little viewing party for the director's cut.
Right. Well, one time they hold these screenings sometimes for what they call focus groups, and they'll just pull random people.
Yeah.
One time I was in when I was in a mall up in D.C.
I bet you focus groups are like commonplace in New York.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Well, they one time they asked me. They said, "What do you think about this movie title?" And I can't remember it. I wish I knew. And I said, "Well, it's okay." They said, "Would you want to go see this movie?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, so they asked me, "Do you want to go watch this movie?" So I didn't have anything to do, sadly. So I went and watched the movie. But when the movie actually came out to the public, like a year later, it wasn't the same title at all, and it was like a different preview for it, and it was an Antonio Banderas movie called Fatal Something, and it had Rebecca Romaine Stamos in it too.
Okay.
And it wasn't very good. So I don't know if I never watched the version that came out. I just know the title was different because they showed you a movie trailer because they were like, "Well, does this title make you want to see it?" If you said yeah, then they said, "What about this movie trailer?" Then I watched it and I said, "Yeah, okay." And then they asked me if I wanted to see it. So, but when it came out, it was pretty cool. I wish I would have been stopped to do that more often.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so check, on Practical Jokers where they stop in for the focus groups and they'll ask them questions about products and stuff that don't actually exist.
Yeah.
That's what the focus group actually is.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish that they
basically just review products that haven't been like marketed
released,
yet.
Yeah.
Right. So, did you all have any favorite characters in this movie?
Gosh, I'd have to say, what's his name? The dude that he came back as, Catan.
Yeah.
Or Catan.
So that was one of your favorite characters?
Yeah, definitely my favorite.
Okay.
He was really good at that. Just running around, being himself. That's how he acts in every other movie I've ever seen him in.
Because for the most part, except when he has that little dialogue with Stu's girlfriend, which it's Stu inside of him.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's running the entire time.
The whole time.
He's running. He's doing like flips. He's holding on to the hot air balloon? Is that what that is?
A bunch of gymnastics.
Yeah, gymnastics. He's swinging from stuff.
I would love to see the guy that did when they got to that little party where he's jumping from table to table and he's just taking one leap. He don't even take a step. He's jumping like a monkey, dude. Like, I want to see the guy that actually was able to do that. His stunt double.
Yeah.
That dude is very talented.
Very talented. So that was your favorite character?
Oh, absolutely.
The gymnast?
Yeah.
What about you, David? Did you have a favorite?
I mean, probably Monkeybone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was surprised.
I can see that.
Yeah. So what did you? What made you? I didn't expect you to say that. What makes you choose Monkeybone?
It's just his unhinged energy.
He acts just like him.
I do.
Do you? So Monkeybone, you never knew what Monkeybone was really going to do.
No,
At
very
all.
unpredictable.
Like even at the very beginning of the cartoon, when he's sitting there in the classroom and he's like, Monkeybone, what's that? Or he's like, Stu, what's that in your pants? And then it's Monkeybone.
Yeah.
Like right away, Monkeybone is going to give you some trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be dude's nemesis, and he's the one that created him.
Now, do you think Monkeybone was Stu's subconscious? Is that why he created?
That's why he got shoved back into his head at the end of the movie. She said, "You're too vanilla without him. I need you to keep him in your head."
Yeah, I agree. What about favorite or least favorite scene?
My least favorite scene for me was probably whenever his girlfriend ends up in the dreamscape.
Okay.
But, like he's like looking into like a little bubble thing. Like she's asleep.
Yeah.
So it's like she's
when
actually
he busted
there.
it.
Yeah, and like he's like getting on it like, hey, turn around a little bit. Like she's turning around, she's obviously looking at it.
Right.
Obviously, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What about
She
you?
heard him. Least favorite, I'd say that'd probably be my least favorite too, but I don't know, man.
It just didn't make sense to me because she jumped up like she realized, but like she did nothing to try and like bring attention to it. Or
Nothing at
try to
all.
Help out.
She
So
just
it's
thought
like,
she was dreaming.
It's
I
really
guess. I mean,
that's like one of those holes in the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like realistically, like why did we need that scene if she wasn't going to do anything to help?
Right.
True.
Now, my least favorite scene, which it sets up the movie, so it's necessary, but I didn't like the cartoon drawing of that lady's flaps.
Oh yeah.
That grossed me out. That really grossed me out. I don't. I mean, it's necessary, but I mean, it's in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
But she never even comes back in the movie.
No.
Like I thought she was going to have something big to do with the movie. And
Never
it's
mentioned
like
again.
Nothing. He just
Never mentioned again.
He just got happy to see her. And
No.
for some reason, those flaps.
It's literally just a story talking about him getting a boner for the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Now, what did you all think about the score?
What did they give us?
The music.
Yeah, the music running, but I mean, definitely screamed like.
Now, here's a
Creepy.
little bit of it.
I wouldn't say creepy. Definitely like cartoony live
Yeah.
action. Like this is definitely very reminiscent of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So
Yeah.
Like Jeremiah said.
Now, there was also a movie in the early
Looney
90s
Tunes.
called Cool World with Brad Pitt and Kim Basinger. And it was also animation and live action as well. But it was more toward adults, kind of like this was too.
Yeah.
But this had a few of those, a few little songs too, like songs like written just for the movie.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of them, but
I feel like this movie would. What song could you put playing behind any scene in this movie and it makes sense? You about have to make your own music for it. There's.
Wait, wasn't that song? See, wasn't that song by Bloodhound Gang, Mammals, out around that time?
probably.
That actually.
That would have been a song.
Now, this song
If
was
it
played
was
in
that.
there.
Really? Jimi Hendrix? Oh.
Now, was this the scene when he was dancing on the bed?
Yeah, it was.
Or was Brick House on the bed?
Oh, Brick
Brick House-
House was on
Yeah,
the
I
bed,
know.
but they did play this.
Or was
song
Brick
where
House
he
at the
was-
end of the movie?
Brick House was near the end of the
End of
movie
it?
at that party.
And this is when he's dancing on
Oh,
the
He's
bed.
like
okay.
he's like singing it himself.
Okay.
It's whenever he's about to it's when Monkeybone's in his body about to
Like activate
propose
the. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
to Doc,
Okay.
as they always called her.
Yeah,
and he gave her the wrong ring. That's how she started realizing, like,
it's not really
something's
him.
not going right here.
Now, what did you all think about the originality of this movie?
100%, dude. Nothing like it.
Yeah, there is nothing really. Some of the reviewers said, some of the movies you all have mentioned. A couple mentioned Nightmare Before Christmas. They mentioned
Same
Beetlejuice.
Director.
Yeah. Things of this.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a lot like Beetlejuice, but definitely gives same type of vibe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the coloring too, dude. The way that they color stuff, like you'll have hues of green, like where they shouldn't be. Like it's the lighting.
And so many of those original characters, even when what is it? I forget the part now, but he Monkeybone pulls him out. He's still in downtown, and he's almost like a hot dog wiener or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what he's supposed to be.
It's something weird.
But it's something weirred, and I forget the exact part. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Monkeybone pulls him out of it before he turns all the way or something.
Yep.
I watched it once. I watched that part twice, and I was like, "What is that?" It looked like a hot dog wiener. Yeah. So, what did you all think about? We discussed it a little bit. The poster. Did the poster make you more interested to watch the movie, or no?
Definitely more interested to watch it.
I was neutral about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, to me, with the poster. And then, that very first scene where it's just, drawn, I thought it was going to be, a quaint little movie about, somebody going into an antique shop, seeing something, unique.
Right.
And buying it, and it's like a cursed monkey bone or something.
Okay.
And you've got to, figure out how to navigate the curse or, pass it off to somebody else.
See, I feel kind of like when I first, when I seen the poster and then when the movie first started and it goes to animation, I thought it was going to be just a little goofy cartoon for the rest of the movie, and then he would come out of it somehow. Maybe he got stuck in a cartoon.
So you thought most of the movie would be a cartoon?
That's what I thought at first.
See, I love the fact that sometimes nobody knows in just the poster.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I hadn't even thought of those, either one of those things. And it's obviously different than both of you all thought.
Yeah.
So is it better than what you all expected?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Especially took a turn whenever Monkeybone, because I didn't even read the previews, the actual summary for it. So I did not expect it to go.
You went in 100% blind. 100% blind.
Yeah, and I did not expect Monkeybone to end up taking over his body.
No. I thought Monkeybone and him were actually going to become friends, and then I realized I was only halfway through the movie when he got the golden pass, and I was like, okay, no, something's about to happen here. Only halfway through the movie, because
he gets into the coma pretty quickly within the movie.
He does, right at the beginning, first 7-8 minutes, I guess.
For 7 minutes.
Yep.
And then he's in downtown pretty quickly too.
Yep.
And I thought when I first heard about the movie, and even rewatching it, I thought that they would spend more time in downtown.
True.
And they don't really spend...
Not a lot.
Not a whole lot.
Almost like Little Nicky in that sense.
Yeah.
You think they're going to spend the whole movie in hell.
Right.
But it actually takes place...
I actually ended up watching this on Amazon, and right after Little Nicky came on.
I mean, I would see how. That would be the only movie maybe I could compare it to, but there wasn't any animation really besides a talking dog.
Right.
And
just your typical 90s CGI.
Yeah.
So you all would recommend if you haven't seen Monkeybone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and honestly, dude, after seeing the movie, I wouldn't have recommended it to any kids or anything just because of that one scene where he's, jumping around on the bed and stuff. Nothing happens.
Right.
All that happens is he bumps his head.
Right.
And that's over. Maybe you could let your kids watch it.
There's not much cuss words in this movie, is there?
Hey,
no.
Just a handful?
Can we just say we identified an Easter egg?
Yeah.
3 little monkeys jumping on the bed.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my gosh. One fell off and bumped his head. Dude, you were right.
Yep.
That's what they did right there. Bro.
I hadn't even thought of that.
That's how they made that song, dude, and I've been listening to it since the 60s.
Yep. Now, this song was in there too, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. So that was Monkeybone, everyone, and I would recommend it as well. It's not like anything you've typically seen. Most people, I would imagine, but I would imagine probably as many people that's going to like it that's going to dislike it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a movie for everyone.
I can see that.
But it's a movie that you can see, in my opinion, you can see where they spent $75 million.
Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't wasted.
I think if they took this movie and like recolored it, like kind of
Remastered it.
Basically remastered it.
Yeah.
Like how they were doing old movies there for a little bit, put them in color and remaster them and stuff like that. I think if they did that and put it back out in theaters, this movie would do a lot better.
They could do that. They could. Now, do you all have any idea of what you want to view next week?
Actually, well, my phone on me. I'm gonna have to message you.
Okay.
And maybe you can make a post about it. But someone suggested this horror movie for me. It sounds really good because it's got a ventriloquist doll in it.
Is it called?
It ain't the one with from a long time ago, dude. 2000.
Dead Silence.
Dead Silence.
Is it
That's
that
what
one?
I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay.
That's a great movie.
Dead
Dude.
I've seen it once, so we can do that.
Absolutely creepy.
I've got a lot of porcelain dolls in my house.
Really?
They're not like the one that
They
Dead.
look like little Hummels or something.
Yeah. Yeah. One time I did watch this movie. I was driving down from DC and I got stuck on the interstate. I had my laptop and I had a DVD player with me, and the only DVD I had was that movie.
Oh.
And I watched it while sitting in traffic for 3 hours because of snow.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Holy snap!
On Interstate 81. So
dude, that movie right there, it reminds me I'm almost certain that they ripped that off from a Goosebumps book, dude, called The Dummy.
I know what you're talking about.
Dude, it's almost the same exact storyline.
And
dude.
the doll looks
It's
very similar.
Yeah,
very similar.
It's the same doll.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a common doll for ventriloquists back in the day.
Yeah.
What was his name in that? Like Charlie or Bobby or Billy or something.
The movie?
Yeah, it was really simple name.
It's probably gonna be something like Bobby.
Let's see if I can find out real quick.
Weird crap.
Should have named him Woody.
Now there was another movie that wasn't not super old. It had a sequel and it was about like a little doll.
Annabelle.
No, not that. Well, that one, but there's another one too. I can't think of it.
Chucky.
But it was just like a doll that didn't talk, and then kind of like this ventriloquist doll.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll do that one next week. I've not watched that one since that one day in the car.
I still got it on DVD,
Yeah.
dude. I've had it since it came out, I guess.
Well, that was Real Talk. Please go to all the social media. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People Show. We'll talk about trolls a little bit on The Other People Show.
Okay.
Because
trolls? Like internet trolls?
Yeah.
Or like under the bridge trolls?
well, aren't they about the same?
Yes, they are.
So yeah.
or was we going to talk about the movie?
The
Oh,
trolls
we can
under
talk
the
about that
bridge-
too.
The trolls under the bridge have a little bit better hair. I
Yeah,
gotta give
and
them
there
that.
used to be this little toy called the Treasure Troll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had like a
Long
little jewel
hair.
in their tummy.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
stay tuned for The Other People Show in just a moment on 92.5 WLSD The Vault.